First off, I guess my first question is, what are you hoping comes from today, speaking to this media law class?
Yeah, I'm hoping just to emphasize the importance of freedom of speech, that we really maintain that. I believe freedom of speech is under attack. It's under attack in America, it's under attack around the world. I believe that America is actually one of the very last countries left that has real freedom of speech. And I believe it's the only thing that really keeps us somewhat on track and somewhat civilized and somewhat moving forward. So I think it's very, very important.
Okay. When it comes to the First Amendment, how much of all the things you do are your true beliefs, or is it you making a statement that these are possible and it is totally within your rights to do something?
Oh, I think everything we do is our beliefs. Yeah, we're not doing it just to make a statement. I mean, in those beliefs, of course, there are a statement. As we speak out against the radical element of Islam, that's a definite statement. But it's not just to make a statement. We actually believe in the things that we are saying, yes.
Okay. When you head to places like Dearborn and stuff like that and do your rallies and stuff, how worried are you about the backlash that's going to come?
The backlash against us personally?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are of course not real concerned. I mean, we have already received around 300 or 400 death threats. There's a reward on my life for $2.4 million. So of course we're very aware of those things, and we're cautious, but we're also very convinced of our message. I mean, we feel that the message needs to be said, and that there needs to be a certain amount of warning going forth.
What is your message?
Yeah, our message concerning Islam.
Yeah.
Message concerning Islam is what we said in Dearborn, and we tried to relate through America. Actually, one of welcome and warning. If Muslims are here in America and they're here legally, then they're welcome. They are protected under the First Amendment. They can evangelize, build mosques. We have no problem with them. Preach the Quran. Well, our problem is with the radical element, and that's where the warning comes in. If they're here to honor and obey and submit to the Constitution of the United States, then everything's fine. If they're here to somehow slowly change, alter, institute Sharia law, then of course we have a very big problem with that. And that does seem to be a pattern. I spent 30 years in Europe as a missionary, and that does seem to be a pattern that Muslims, when they come in, when they reach a certain number, they begin to push for Sharia. And that particular element we are very much against.
Okay. So this isn't something that just, your views, you didn't come up with them after 9/11 or something like that. You've been, through your life, you've witnessed and started to believe in these?
Yeah. I mean, it was a gradual process, but it's not something that just popped up because of 9/11. No, I saw that in Europe. As I said, I was 30 years there, and I saw, and you see right now, in France and Germany and England, they have a lot of problems with the radical element of Islam. So it was a growing process that I saw through those 30 years in Europe, but it's been a conviction for quite a while, yes.
Okay. How, compared, when you spent those 30 years in Europe, how does their, I guess, right to free speech compare with America?
Yeah, I think America is a little bit more, how you would call it, a little bit more liberal. They give more room for freedom of speech. In England and in other countries, they have begun to limit freedom of speech. In other words, if I was to speak out against Islam, like we wrote a book called Islam is of the Devil. We're talking about the radical element of Islam. That would actually be against the law in some countries. You would not be able to do that because they have been able to label things that you say as hate speech. And that, I believe, gets to be very, very dangerous because you must be allowed to say things that are not popular and not accepted.
Is that how you feel change can be made or views can be changed, is by saying what people are afraid to say?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I think that's the way, that's what our history has done. Things that we consider now to be normal and right and acceptable, of course, were not always so. Even things like the civil rights movement, women's rights, right to vote. These things were, and also at one time, very radical views. Now, of course, they're considered to be normal. So I think that's why we have to maintain freedom of speech.
what kind of questions do you expect from students today? How do you expect the class to go?
Yeah, I guess I expect them, to talk about possibly our motives and why we do the things that we do. I think that the hate issue will come up, the hate speech issue will come up, and talking about that, trying to define that, I believe it will go somewhat in that direction.
Okay. Now your court date tomorrow is not, you weren't arrested because of anything you said, it was because your gun went off, right?
No.
No, what are your charges that you're facing tomorrow?
Yeah, that's part of the point. Actually, we were found guilty of possibly breaching the peace, and we had to pay a peace bond. We refused to pay that peace bond, and because we refused to pay it, they put us in jail. Because a peace bond, in my opinion, along with the free speech zones, is unconstitutional. In other words, we were put in jail for something that might happen, something that someone else might do. In other words, we were not even accused of being violent. They were saying what we might do might cause someone else to be violent. And because of that, you have to pay a peace bond. We said no to that, and they put us in jail. And I think when our government begins to go in that direction, in other words, they put you in jail for what someone else might do because they don't like what you did or said. And that was why we were put in jail. So I think that's a very, very, very dangerous direction for the country to go.
Okay. That was the $1 that I heard?
Yes,
okay.
right.
You just, as a stance, as a belief, you did not want to.
Right. We refused to pay it, and then of course later on we did pay it under protest.
Okay.
Right.
My last question, I guess, just how much good do you think you're doing with your message and your motive?
Well, of course the Quran thing is not our only message.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now we're involved in the political scene. We're running for president. We are involved in trying to tell the American people the truth of the condition of America. We're trying to wake up America, get people to think, get people to look for themselves, check around the world. When we deal with the radical element of Islam, look at the fruits of the religion. When we deal with the economy right now and the condition that we were in, we have to look beyond what the politicians are saying. All of the politicians are just smiling, telling us everything is going to be okay, and everything's not going to be okay. We're $14.9 trillion in the hole. Everything is not going to be okay unless we take some drastic measures right now, and mainstream politicians will not tell you that because that is not what you want to hear.
Okay, yeah, I completely forgot about that. I did read that you are planning on running for president. Do you have any plans tonight with the debate being here in Michigan, down in Rochester? Are you going to try to attend that at all or anything like that?
No, we would be happy to attend it if we were invited, because I think we have some very valuable things to say in order to wake up the nation. And like I said, I believe the politicians are giving us some kind of rosy future, which is definitely not there unless we take care of the issues that we have right now.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?